Hello, episode 5 now. Um, yeah, so the band's broken up, which was sooner than I expected, but here we are. And Saki's lost everything, pretty much. Apart from Wika, actually, but I'm not sure how good that is for her, based on Wika herself. But nevertheless, Saki has lost everything now. So it's going to be interesting where we go from here. I mean, I'm expecting this episode. I've said it before. I don't expect a lot to happen, but stuff important always happens. But nothing. I don't expect anything too dramatic to happen this episode. So I think we'll tap in. Go base with a lot of, almost probably the entire cast, including the My Go characters this episode. Now that we're not going to get interactions with the Mujica as a band, we'll get them. We'll get more of My Go involved, which is fantastic. I'm all here for. But yeah, lots of weaker theories and Saki theories flying about this week, especially after the advertisements in I think it was Shinjuku, in that like really long station. There's some really good advertisements there for Mujica. When I was there in October, it was ReZero stuff, so it's cool seeing what it is now. But yeah, super excited. So just gets better and better, and we're in such an interesting spot now where it could really go in any direction. So I think I'm just going to jump straight into it. Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, continuation of the end credit scene. Oh, they didn't even play a song, wow. It's cool seeing merch for their first live there as well. Or second, I think it was first.
この番組スミミに出てもらうしかなくて。はい。ではこの件については後日幹部会で確認ということでよろしくお願いします。どうぞ。失礼します。祐天寺さん、どうかした？今お時間よろしいですか？ちょっとご相談したいことがあるんですけど。お疲れ様でした。
Oh. She's still on stage. I think that was the shot from one of the PVs.
次はツアー中に突然の解散です。
人気ガールズバンドの阿部ムジカが解散することを発表しました。なぜ解散にまで至ったのか、所属事務所もコメントを発表しました。
ムジカ解散って知ってる？友達がファンでさ、やっとチケット取れたって喜んでたのに。かわいそう。出なくていいよ。ずっとここにいていいから。ムジカが亡くなっても一緒にいてくれる？
I'm not sure she really wants to.
Abe Mujica の八幡うみりさんですよね。解散の真相をお伺いしたいのですが、お時間いただけますでしょうか。
私だったら答えてくれるんですか？
いや。
ウイカさん、ムジカの解散について一言お願いします。
Oh, Stoko from Mofonica.
今はムジカは関係ないと思うのですが。今はスミミのウイちゃんなんで。
The whole mood is just down.
ただいま。サキちゃん、プリン買ってきたよ。
She's so here.
サキちゃん。
Oh.
中なのだから。
That's a line. It's interesting how Rika interject in the middle of the episode as well, rather than the beginning or the end. And back to work as normal. And it'll follow her everywhere. It's not something she can forget about like she could with Kreischer. Even then she couldn't, but there's bigger ramifications to this. Another note from Tomori, probably. Oh my god. It's exactly the same as the first episode.
ごめんな、サキ。
I don't know how much more she has left in her.
ー
Yeah, she's trying to keep up relevance.
私たちお人形っていう設定だったじゃないですか。そこからお人形の前は最初は美容系の配信とかドラムの配信とかしててメイク配信してた。あれすごい参考になる。ありがとうございます。だよね。いやいや、できることは何でもやりたいっていう気持ちが強くて、この間写真も言ってたよね。やっぱり私のことを応援してくれている人に宮口さんと応援してよかったなって思ってほしくて、そのためなら何でもできますね。はい、そんな宮口さんがマネージャーさんからこんなメッセージ。何怖い。最後はこの曲でお別れです。すみみのおやすみに。お相手はウイカとマナでした。せーの、おやすみに。
Yes, it's not. Oh.
つみちゃん、かわいい。ムジカ解散してから1ヶ月くらい経つよね。最近全然見なくない？南さんが言ってたんだけど、むつみちゃん引きこもっちゃったって。アベムジカの解散、ショックだったのかな。あれはね。これ全部憲法？ウイカちゃんに渡してあげたいから数冊もらっていい？好きなだけ持ってって。
It's cool seeing the fallout of all of this. It reminds me a bit of like JJK episode season 2, the last one, where it just kind of goes something big happens and it goes over everyone else's reactions instead of who the main people who are affected, you know.
やだやだ、1ヶ月も経ったのにまだあんなこと言う人いるんだね。ごめんね、ウイちゃんが謝ることじゃないよ。
We get in that pose again.
どうしたの？うん、サキちゃんと連絡取れなくて。
Yeah.
ああ、キーボードの子だっけ？うん。
Going down.
おはようございます。あ、ニャムちゃんおはよう。おはよう。3時からスタジオって空いてます？声出ししたくて。
It's just Saki on about her normal life. Not a very happy one at that. This is really like impactful. Just seeing Saki on her own, not even saying a word, just another note. Yep. It's Tomori, 100%. Saki-chan is Tomori. And the notes, obviously, we saw in the first episode.
ウミリちゃん、あれから他のみんなと連絡取った？いえ。サキちゃんは最近どうしてるのかなって。ご自身で確認すればいいのでは。
I think she would if she could. I'm gonna get like a Soyo Saki, weaker Saki, kind of parallel with her trying to get in touch with her and how it ends up causing her to spiral. Maybe. Oh, is that a family? Yep. Oh,
一連の報道は見ていた。いい勉強になっただろう。もう何も心配することはない。ツアー中止にかかった損害賠償。
yeah, they'll use that as leverage somewhat. Yeah, she doesn't like that. She's prideful like that.
あれはもう戸川の人間ではないと言っただろう。
God, just hearing nothing. Oh, it's so good. Just the way this episode's done so far.
支度してきなさい。
Oh man. She's always going to go back to that family. For one reason or another, it was always going to happen. Oh wow. That is a look.
「あれはみずほに似て意外とじゃじゃ馬だからな。しっかり頼むぞ。
承知いたしました。
お帰りなさい、お嬢様。
Kept it clean.
私が嫌いですわ。
あの人は一体どこへ？
このままでは見つかるものも見つかりません。一刻も早く探し出さないといけませんわ。
しかし探すと言っても
Yeah,
一体全体の
Mortis,
どこを
much to
探
me.
したものか。
Nowhere to be seen. I assume this says disbandment.
はい、祐天寺です。え？舞台ですか？はい。プロデューサーから直接オーディションの案内が？演技はまだ
yeah.
勉強中なんで。
Bit of an inferiority complex now.
今はバラエティ方面で頑張りたいなって思ってるんで。
God, they're all just
はい、せっかくの機会
all
な
the
ので
acting
すみません。
books.
ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。
God, this episode is so depressing. Two. Oh my god. Made 2 coffees. Of course she did. It's gonna be really bad for her.
すっごー、本当にお嬢様だったんだ。ほら、デビューした時ネットで話題になったでしょ。オブリビオニスは戸川グループの。戸
戸川グループ。CM で森みなみもやってたじゃん。戸川グループ。
Nice bit of levity, that. Oh no! She's here! She's not dead! Wow. Oh my god, Anon. Oh, don't give us another Taki Tomo moment on this bridge. He's been thinking about those words. Oh, Taki. Oh. I was not expecting Tomo Saki flashbacks this episode. 'Cause yeah, that one. Go on, Anon. Go on, Anon. Go on, Anon. Oh my god. Like, what is happening here? Oh my god. Is that Sawyer?
むつみちゃんと同じクラスの長崎です。
Wow, she's actually checking up on her. Oh, Sawyer, please help her. It might be Mortis or Mutsumi, I don't really know. Is she on the phone? Oh no. The curtains are ripped as well in the background.
むつみちゃん。もしもし。お医者さん。
That sounds like Mutsumi.
はい。
But she said about not waking up.
むつみちゃんが起きないんです。はい。
I think yes, Mortis.
はい。ずっと寝たままなんです。
Oh, that's not a phone. I only just noticed that. Oh my god.
そよちゃん。そよちゃん。むつみちゃん。起こして。
Oh my god. What is happening there? Well, that was a fucking heavy episode. And like I mentioned, I wasn't expecting much to happen, and not much did. But at the same time, like, so much happened. That was a lot. That was a lot in one episode. I mentioned the merch, the Primo Day in Sina, I think. I can't remember the exact name. It's either Zero Live or First Live. But it's cool seeing that. And we get to some of the more like technical sides of things, but the manager talking to Uika and Yamu coming in, the more in industry things. And then we get Saki, who looks in just complete shock almost. Like she doesn't know what to do, and Mortis is exactly the same. Still in exactly the same spot from when she did that scream in the end of last episode. It's just, yeah, we just get loads, and I'll eventually be able to see all these translated, and probably Sign will do them. Go follow them on Twitter, they're fucking goated, but it's annoying that they're not here. There's quite a lot of them this episode of both articles and phone stuff, but yeah. You can pass together mostly what most of them are doing. It's all about disbandment and the news surrounding that. I assume there might be the manager, the producer, something like that. I mean, Rika's obviously upset about the disbandment, but she's more upset, I think, at Saki's just like the way that how far Saki's fallen in terms of like she's just completely just there's just nothing on her face anymore. Like obviously she cares way more about Saki than anything else. It's like a rainbow doing to get some crying. But still cooking to the end. Yeah, we're just dealing with the fallout of the breakup. Even during Uika's swimming activities, Mana doing a good job, just making sure she's alright and trying to divert the topic. And then when Uika gets back, And of course, Saki has gone. Sound of the cast die does not carry through. What was that? Because this is still just the middle of the abyss. I mean, that is some line. Just back to work, and they're showing these shots, and there was people talking about behind her. They're showing shots on the train or the advertisements and everything like that. It's like, this isn't something that Saki can forget about, like she almost did with Krychik. It's not possible at this point because it's just everything around her that's happening. I mean, Krychik was one thing where she was still going to the same school as Tomori, but this is different. Like, it's not going to be easy, and obviously it hasn't been easy for her, but this isn't something that she can just cut off from her memory like that. And again, like, constant reminders, the note from Tomori, back to normal, just life with her dad and somewhat caring for him, and again on the news once she's at home. I think she's just doing homework here, which is like, I mean, props to her for still doing that after all this. I mean, that is just what she does, isn't it? She'll just keep going no matter what. And these scenes are just really, really good at letting the audience know, like, just how shit Saki's situation is. Obviously, they did a really good job in the first episode of the backstory, and just that was a lot, and just putting it on full blast one after the other, like just the events that happened and how they happened, like instantly, like the mother dying, the family, the dad fraud case, the Krychik breaking up, like the dad then retaliating. It's like they were a lot, but this I think does an as good job as that did at portraying just Saki's just misery. Because this whole episode is the tone, especially with Saki, when she's on screen, it's just so like depressing and low, and like it's a bit anxiety inducing. It's just like flat and just, you know, it's not even flat. It's below there. It's like, I can't think of the words right now, but and it's the way they just linger on these shots of her just doing her homework, getting her things to go to the public baths. Even then, like, we have weaker and swimming activities when she's there. Don't get to see her face. Just, and the wait like that was a good like minute and a half of just nothing happening really, but it really drove home the situation. And I'm a big fan of the way this episode is done in general. Again, we're just getting more of the fallout and just everyone going back to their regular lives. It's interesting here, Namu says she wants to work on her vocals as well. She's obviously doing as much as she can just to stay relevant, basically. And we just get more of this stuff. It's just like she's just silent the whole time. Another note from Tomori. He's reading something here. Actually, I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter, because just in between the episodes I just hopped on quickly, about this book. Let me check real quick, because it is important. Okay, so the book is called Kokoro by Soseki Natsume, and the synopsis of the book, or just basically what happens, is spoilers if you want to read the book. Maybe skip ahead like 20 seconds or 30 seconds or so, but the main character commits suicide in order to free themselves from being haunted by their trauma. But it's not just that. It's the main character commits suicide after a life of being haunted by his failure to save his best friend from his own attempt. I mean, I've been there when you're depressed and low. You wanna not indulge in it. That's the wrong word. But reading these kind of things and these kind of depressing stories can help. But that in particular, and how it somewhat correlates into Saki's situation and just the weight of it. I mean, fucking hell, Saki. I don't. This might just be homework, and this is just a really terrible coincidence that she has to read all this. And Rika's just completely like. The only thing on her mind is Saki, and she's gonna crack sooner or later. I'm thinking sooner rather than later, because just the longer she goes without being able to contact her, the longer it's just going to get worse and worse, and eventually he's going to snap. I don't know how, maybe but it's going to be bad for Rika. It's going to be really bad. I think it's going to be the worst, actually, out of all the characters. Umu gives quite a blunt answer, which isn't going to do much help for Rika. And we just get more Saki, just going about her life. And then her family shows up to take her back home. And like I mentioned, this isn't something Saki likes them doing. She's prideful in that manner, that she wants to take on all these burdens and responsibilities herself. So them doing this, it does give them leverage with her. And we saw it in episode 2 or 4 of My Go. I think it was 2, where Saki and Mutsumi, actually it might be 4, where Saki and Mutsumi go to the Hazawa, or the Hazawa, I think it's Hazawa, the little cafe, and she pays for Mutsumi's drink, even though she's not in a situation to be able to afford that, but she does it anyway, because she's prideful like that, and she'll take on these responsibilities which further hurt herself and in consequence end up hurting others. That's just like a whole character, and it's great. It's really compelling. As like people mention that in any other show she'd be the shonen protagonist, the hero. I think in a recent interview, like just got translated today, they I think Non-Tan Saki's VA mentions how this is a story about how Sakiko becomes the hero. She just packs her things, obviously prioritises the doll again. A lot of stuff just mirroring episode 1 of Ave Mujica. And this is, God, like look at that face. It's certainly not pleasant to look at. I don't really know how he's going to be involved in the future and how that's going to go. And like again, he's got her back home, and now he's like, okay, I'll leave the rest to you. He doesn't care about her well-being in the slightest. And then we go to the piano. She says the line, I hate myself. I don't even know where to start, you know? I think it's just something I've got to ruminate on more, because it's a lot. And I had a lot of thoughts about Sakiko in general before and I mentioned how I struggled to kind of express them, but yeah, it just brings a whole like, oh, it's just a lot with her. There's just so much to think about and consider, and it's amazing. I love it, this way she's this season so far. That's why I was concerned about Mitsumi. We saw at the end that she actually did go and check on her, but and like I said, I assume this is all just saying disbandment and stuff related to that. I wasn't sure if Soyo knew before, but I don't know. I guess she must have, but unless that is when she found out just then, so then that is what caused her to go and check on Mitsumi. It's interesting here seeing Yamu kind of. We saw it in the previous episodes with how she referred to Mutsumi as a genius, but we're seeing like an inferiority complex really manifest here with. She's like, I can't match that, and that's something that she was a part of as well. So there's going to be comparisons to that in work that she might end up doing. I mean, yeah, these are all acting books. I think we saw these in one of the first PVs in the trailers. And yeah, this place is no light whatsoever. Depressing. Makes 2 coffees, of course she does. She's just waiting for her to come back, and like I mentioned, in a similar way that Soyo, but Soyo was a lot more proactive about actually trying to find her. Soyo would use whatever measure possible, wherever she could possible, to get in contact with Sakiko. And Wika's not at this point yet, and I think she will be eventually. We've seen parallels with Soyo and Wika in previous episodes, like with the posing and some lines about about destiny. So I think that is a direction we could be going with Wika, which will be fun. Of course it will. I think Saki changed her profile picture, which is an observation, but yeah, we're already getting the triple double texting from Wika that Soyo so ferociously did in Maiko, which might lead to Saki blocking Wika, which again would also be really fun. And then this happens, and I wasn't expecting these kind of developments at this point in the story. I mean, the show, it keeps doing it. My expectations are being completely shattered every single time. Just Anon being stupid. Oh, that isn't this scene. I guess it's the scene after. And Rana's here. She's here. Only took 5 episodes and an appearance in the Card Fight Vanguard anime before this one, but she is here. Oh, we get I forgot about this. Fucking Taki Top. There's so much in this episode. There's so much going on between so many characters, and Tomori thinks about the meaning of happiness. I mean, these words have been obviously ringing in her head. Saki just, not Taki, just. That makes me happy that she's happy though. She kind of misinterpreted what was going on, but that does make me happy, and these are great expressions on Taki's face. And just walks off awkwardly. Oh man. We get the flashback again, more. I wanna listen to this scene again, actually.
あんなことしたのは生まれて初めてでしたわ。毎日が楽しくて練習が待ち遠しくて、この5人でクライシックをできることが本当に幸せで、バンド名の通り。
So that's what happiness is. Or what Tomori interprets happiness. I mean, it was happiness to Saki at Christchurch, and that's what Tomori might try and reproduce in some way. But I don't know what direction they're going to go with that. I mean, at the end we saw Tomori say, "Let's be in a band." I don't know what they can get with, because obviously Ave Mujica is going to exist after this. Like, Ave Mujica aren't just going to not become a thing, you know? Because we have all these other characters and the in real life voice actors that are Ave Mujica.
バンド名の通り、私たちの歌を聴いてと叫び出してしまいそう。
And yeah, obviously it was Tomori sending these notes to Saki based on episode 1 the notes, and just her calling her Saki-chan. That's just how Tomori addresses her, and the way they were written, it was very obvious that it's Tomori. Who else is it going to be, obviously? That's from the trailer. There we see that she slams it. Oh, and just the stop it scribbled over. Yeah, and then we get this scene. And this is, I love this so much. Like everyone was saying on Twitter, we need Anon to come in and save the day, with the picture of when she's, I think it's episode 4, when she's just like, let's talk it out then, guys, and she brings them all together and talk them out. And she's doing it again. This like truly made me so happy seeing Anon spring into action like that. And we get Anon Saki. What a unique ship these two are in the community. And Saki's still just not. She's completely shut herself off from everyone. I mean, she had done, like, before we saw it in My Go, that she was like pushing other people away, but now she's like she's not even actively like being cruel, or she's not actively pushing people away. She's just not even acknowledging any of it. Like she tried before with Ave Mujica and in the events of My Go to actively cut off these memories and push people away, all that kind of thing. Start like do something new with Ave Mujica to forget about everything else. But now that method didn't work, so now she's just not even acknowledging it, just becoming numb to all of it, and that's not going to work either. Like, no way that's going to work either. And that's the great thing about Saki, is how all of what she does is so. She has the right reasons. No, she does the wrong things for the right reasons. Like her intent is there. She always has really good intent, but repeatedly does the wrong things and takes the wrong action. Obviously, Tomori's familiar with this house. She remembers it. She's okay to just walk inside like that. She's done this before. And then she sees this and she remembers, and it's just too much for her. And I don't think it's like Tomori's forgotten about Christchurch and Saki. Obviously not. Definitely not. She's obviously sending the notes. She's still concerned about Saki. But those times and those feelings and how happy she she somewhat moved on from with Maigo. I mean, that was the whole point of that story, was them kind of embracing and moving on from that, and moving on despite all of that. But now she's being forced to face it again with Saki and having Mujica's fall, and we know she's gonna save the day in one way or another. But it's just how we get there, which is I don't know how. I really don't. Also, I forgot to mention when Tomori's writing down, talking about happiness. I think she writes down happiness, and then she writes down Saki's name. And I'm pretty sure Saki's name means happiness as well. That's why it's not just because like there's double meaning there. It's not just because she relates happiness to Saki, but because Saki's name actually does mean happiness as well. We do focus on the doll a lot this episode as well. It's going to be interesting to see when that inevitably starts moving or speaking to Saki in some way. And it's just too much for Tomori here. But she screams out. She screams out for Saki to be in a band. She doesn't run away this time, like she might have done in the past. It's being a band. Like she actually, and it takes a lot for her to do that, and it shows just how much Tomori's developed over the course of the series. And Saki's face is still just. There's a slight reaction, but she just doesn't want anything to do with anyone anymore. I think she's definitely at a point now where she believes that she's burdening others now, and her presence in others' lives isn't a good thing. And it's going to take a lot of convincing for her to start believing in her own worth and how she can positively affect others, because she's at the lowest point at this now, like lower than we've ever seen her, easily. And then we get this post-credit scene, Sawyer going to visit Mutsumi, and I'm so happy. It was obvious it was going to happen eventually, but we're following up on Sawyer and Mutsumi and their whole dynamic in Maigo, because their relationship is like really complex and in an interesting. I mean, Sawyer's surprised the house is so big. She doesn't. Obviously, she knows she's a celebrity, but she doesn't know anything about Mutsumi and her home life, really. She starts listening through the door, and what Mutsumi, obviously it's Mortis, but through Sawyer's point of view, it's Mutsumi. What we think is on the phone, we see the mess, all the dolls. We saw obviously a lot of them would have been talking to Mutsumi when I think it was episode 3, we got all that, like, of my other Mujica, we got all that with the dolls and all of them speaking. And the lamps falling over, the tables falling over, all the plants, the curtains are ripped, like, oh, it's just not good. And these books, they look like fantasy books, maybe resembling the ED a bit, especially this one on the right. And that doll looks like Saki a bit. I don't know if that's intentional or not. And the ballet shoes, and we see her on the phone, but it's a ballet shoe as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is, and she's just stroking the guitar. And Sawyer's like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, what has she walked into? And luckily, because I think Sawyer could have easily just run away and like not even followed up on this, but Mutsumi alerted to her presence, and I think Sawyer will actually might get some dialogue between them, and Sawyer will realise that this isn't Mutsumi, this is Mortis, and what's everything that's happened. Saying Mutsumi won't wake up, and Mortis just wants to bring Mutsumi back, but she's too far gone, it seems. Oh my god, that's Rana and Mutsumi and Mortis. What could they possibly be talking about? How has this encounter even happened? And Saki just still struggling, Tomori persisting with the notes. Mori Mitaki, which is fantastic. Let me get this. It looks like... Is that Soyo, Taki and Tomori? No, Anon, Taki and Tomori. And Soyo and Mortis. So I don't think that would be Saki. Wow, what could be happening here? And there's a crowd watching them. Oh. But yeah, this episode was incredible. There's a different tone and atmosphere compared to all the other ones. It's really depressing and just sad and anxiety inducing. It's a lot. It's heavy. But it's so good. So good. I can't praise the show enough. And I'm glad that they're able to do episodes like this where it's much quieter, but you still feel the effects and ramifications of everything that's happened for every single character. It just goes to show how good the directing is, and so everything's been set up in the episode is just really good stuff. But yeah, that's episode 5. Okay, so again, please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm glad to see people noticing how passionate I am about the show. That's a really nice comment I got, I think, last week. But yeah, it's obvious I'm super into it, and I'm glad I'm glad it's coming across in the videos somewhat. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.